Hello. Day 14, 15, 13. I don't know. 2 weeks of recording every day, save for a couple days that I missed. Hi, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Urana Chimso. This is Chimsology. um, if you don't know me, this is a place that I come to talk about and work out my worldview and my philosophy on life. I like to tag myself as an applied philosopher, basically using a philosophical perspective to understand our human experiences so that we can experience life better, enjoy it more, and make it a better thing. I don't like repeating words. Make it better for other people as well. Some of the topics that I cover I talk about Christian theology, I talk about economics, business, and finance. I talk about relationships, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And I talk about science and metaphysics. I need to add another category, which is African identity. So five things. All of these things, c'est moi. They are me. I like talking about myself. Hello. No, I'm just these are the things I think about just because of who I am and yeah, the identities at which I am intersected at. So today I want to talk about relationships. 2 days ago, I recorded a video on relationships, but I was mainly just talking about my experience thus far. It wasn't even comprehensive. I talk a lot. So I talked for a long time. Most of the times I don't even feel like what I'm saying is coherent or it's making any sense, but hey, that's why I get on here to practice to practice talking publicly. Um but yeah, I was just talking about my experience kind of like from I would say middle school through to now being a philosophically oriented person and how that has I think made it a bit difficult for me to connect with people and feel like I get what I want slash need out of relationships to the level to which I want slash maybe need them. But today, um, well, I think I needed to talk about that because I'm in a place right now where I'm processing and reevaluating relationships just because of a lot of disappointments and hurts that I've experienced over the last year in various different relationships and just like community and all that stuff. And being in that place was preventing me from making a video about it, even though, like, out of all the things, maybe Christian, actually, they're all pretty equal. But I would say maybe Christian theology is at the top. And then relationships is like right after it, just because I love people. And yeah, so because it's so near and dear to my heart and something that I'm still trying to work through, I was like, I don't know if I want to make a video about this because I don't know if I can say anything confidently. But I think making these videos is going to help me kind of like think through and process these things and access parts of myself that kind of went dormant throughout this whole process. Yeah, and just remind myself of why I love people and relationships and intimacy and vulnerability and growth so much. Okay, so let's get into today's video. Title of the video: How do we love? So, as an applied philosopher, one thing that I'm trying to do when I communicate is state my priors or my premises at the beginning. Basically, things that I take as given or I take as true, and then that I then use to build up the entire argument that I'm using going forward. I like to do that so that other people can see where I'm coming from and the things that I assume to like hold true or be stable. So that if they do want to argue about something, they can argue about where I started and not necessarily like where I landed. Technically, in philosophy, you can argue about like the moves that you make to get somewhere, like the flow of logic and rhetoric and all that stuff. But typically, where you want to go to first is the priors and the premise. Excuse me. And so I hope like through my videos and doing that more consciously, I can um kind of just like show people how to do that for themselves and how to identify it when they're talking to other people. Like notice the things that people are taking forgiven and assuming when they're saying certain things. So I'm just going to make mine clear. My premise is love. My premise is love. Literally for any and everything. My premise is love because I'm a Christian and I believe in God and I believe that God is love. Now, even that is like specific to, not specific, but characteristic of specific types of Christianity just because people are different. They highlight and emphasize different things. Um, so yeah, the reason why I say my premise is love is because I think the only reason why the material reality exists is because of love. Because God, in and of Himself, itself, they self, God self, is completely self sufficient and did not need to. Material reality does not need to exist for any reason. And I think the fact that it exists is a testament to love because if God is completely sufficient within God's self, then material reality exists not for any purpose outside of maybe God wanting to express God's self or God wanting to extend God's self, God wanting to share God's self outside of God's self, but within God's self. um, I don't even know how to begin to. It's really good that I'm doing these videos. I have to explain my worldview, which sounds. I'm very aware of how crazy this probably sounds, but yeah, I believe that material reality exists because of love, and that from within God, He poured out and made material reality, which we are part of, to then draw it back to Himself. And to, this is going to get very philosophical, but basically, that's what my prayer is. Because I believe in God, I believe that the only reason why things exist, the only reason why things exist is an outpouring and an overflowing of love. Somebody else could probably explain it a different way, but that's what I believe. We could prior number one, we can talk about that. Okay, so priors. I believe in God. I believe that material reality is a result of love. And because I believe material reality is a result of love, I believe that we can use love to understand many things in material reality. Um, these are I explain myself a lot better when I write, so this is also helping me to get better at explaining myself in speech as well. Yeah, it's just a lot easier to see your logic when you're writing and to correct certain things in real time. But okay, so those are my premises. Now, how does that come to people and relationships and stuff like that? So kind of like that third point. I don't think I explained it well, but basically, as a result of creation existing because of love, I believe that when we are trying to orient ourselves to different things, the thing that we look to is love in order to orient ourselves. How we relate to other human beings, how we relate to animals, how we relate to plants, how we relate to the earth, how we relate to other stars and planets in our solar system, in our galaxy, in the universe. Everything is filled and found in love. Well, now we have to define what is love. I don't freaking know, man. I don't know what love is. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Um, I think I came to a pretty good understanding. Good, relative. I think I came to some kind of understanding last year before I lost my mind. Actually, I was thinking about maybe today doing a video about how I lost my mind in 2025. But I was like, I feel like me doing that is me trying to run away from sharing what it is I actually believe about things, which I did a video about yesterday because I was feeling insecure. So I was like, okay, let me practice just sharing what it is I actually believe, and I can talk about going crazy another day. But before I lost my mind, I feel like I had come to some kind of an understanding of what love was, and it was very beautiful. It was very. I hate saying things that I do or think are profound, but it felt profound to me. It felt deep to me. It felt very fulfilling and like revelatory. Like I could see reality like so much better than I could before. Um, but it's been a while since I've been in that place, and this year, 2026, so far, the past almost 4 months has basically been me trying to recover my mind and get back to that place of where I had this understanding of what love is. So I'm going to try my best with the limited mental faculties that I have to explain to you what I had arrived at in terms of understanding love. Jesus, help me. Okay, so what do I think that love is? I think that love is seeing, acknowledging, and contributing to the full positive potential of a thing. This is very vague. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm really trying to work on not being as vague when I think about things, but yeah. Um seeing seeing, acknowledging, and contributing to the full positive potential of things. I think that is what love is. And the reason why I say positive potential is because I think most of the times when people say potential, they normally think of positive potential, but I'm making a point to say positive potential because negative potential exists. Um, yeah, destruction is a potential state of things. Yes,
Do you see my text message?
about the grocery list.
Yeah.
Yes, I will start adding stuff.
Okay.
Thank you. That was my brother. We're doing grocery shopping, so I need to add stuff to the list. Anyways, yeah. So positive potential. And how do you see the positive potential of things? You have to be close. You have to investigate. You have to get to know them. You have to interact with the thing. Oh, excuse me. You have to be committed to relating with this thing through different like seasons and phases to really understand like what it is and what the positive potential of it is. And yeah, so I think love is like seeing, I guess I'm just gonna keep repeating myself, seeing, acknowledging, contributing to that positive potential. I think the contributing part is really important because part of my ontology or part of my belief of what a thing is that um its interactions with the other things around it and its environment. And I think potential is realized through interaction. And I don't think you can be a passive, um, like a passive participant necessarily in bringing a thing's potential to fruition. I tend to like take a stance of being very active in my life and the things that I participate in. And I do realize that like you can't engage with everything and everyone, but I think like active and contribution can take many different forms. Sorry, I have like so many things in my mind. The problem with my brain, I talked about this in the video. The problem with my brain is because I see so many possibilities and I see like counter arguments constantly. Sometimes it's hard for me to like clearly articulate what it is that I'm thinking because as I'm saying it, I'm telling myself how it may be wrong at the same time. So I'm really trying here. I feel like I spend so much time just talking about nothing on these videos, but here's to trying. So yeah, interacting with a thing, committing to it. Um, and I think in like interaction and contribution, there could be like a spectrum of things, but I think there needs to be a level of awareness of what you could do and how your interaction with this thing, whether positive, passive or active, is affecting how this thing can realize its positive potential. So, okay, if that is what we are defining as love, how do we love when it comes to other human beings, especially as a human being that also needs love? Um, I think that that's the entire question of my life is I want to be the most loving person that I could possibly be. I want to see people fully and completely and focus on their positive potential and acknowledge it and affirm it in them and contribute to it in any way that I can. But in order to do that, I also need love to realize my positive potential, to be able to give that to people. And sometimes it's really hard when your insecurities and your weaknesses and your fractures start rubbing up against somebody else's, and it's like, when you're trying to light a fire, it's like you just keep running, boom, combustion. Things just, oh, fire, there's fire, 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 there's fire. Um, yeah, and I think it's really hard, and it makes me really sad because I get sad that like these things happen, but I also get really sad and like frustrated with myself in terms of like, oh, why can't I be perfect? Why can't I have no insecurities, no problems, so that I can just show up as love in everybody's life that I meet? Why do I have to be constrained by my negative past experiences and the limitations of my brain to handle those experiences well? Why? And I think what I have learned along this journey is that, like I said, I too am a human being, and human beings need love. And I'm not just some like removed factor in this equation of interacting with people. And I'm not removed from interacting with people. I am just as human and just as material as every other person, as every other thing. And because of that, I require love to function well. And I think I came to this idea of kind of like being this clean slate that other people can interact with and experience love without it like necessarily affecting me. I think how I got there was from a good intention in terms of like I want to be loving to other people. I don't want to be the reason why somebody doesn't experience love or experiences something that reinforces to them that love is not real and it's not impactful. And so like I kind of want to be this clean slate for other people. Um and I'm still trying to like work this out, like this thought process that not that I'm not that, but that may not actually be the goal or the ideal to be this clean slate that other people can just come and interact with and basically do whatever it is that they want, but still experience love nonetheless. I think I'm coming to realize that genuine interaction is very important in people reaching their positive potential and being seen as a human being that needs love. And I genuinely don't know where this is going or like what I'm thinking. I feel like I'm about to sneeze too, but yeah, that's something that I'm still thinking about. And what happens through the interaction and not just like me being this thing that people come and they like interact with and like, oh, when they bump in, they receive love. And it's like, what if it goes from this to like this interaction. How do we do that? How do we do that? How do we do that? Face the reality of our weaknesses and continue to do this, and don't go from this to this. We're like, we're still reaching, but we're not getting there. We're not getting there because we're not choosing to come back in. Because when we get here, sparks fly. So we got to go back. We just do this. We just do this, and we can't go back into this. Yeah, so I think my question is, how do we do that? Please, this video, how do we love? How do we continue to show up in interactions with people that force us to confront our weaknesses and our fractures, and that force us to confront their weaknesses and their fractures as well? How do we come face to face with those things and still choose to love, still choose to see them, to acknowledge them, to affirm them, and to contribute to them while experiencing pain in the process? Because I just think pain is part of growing in love. Not because love is painful, but because insecurities in the face of love want to run away and hide instead of being transformed and refined. So, yeah, that's a question I'm still trying to figure out. I think the textbook Christian answer would probably be get closer in your relationship with God, experience pure love and true love and complete love, and let that be the primary interaction that you have. Even with God, it's not necessarily like this. I think God, like not just God affects us, but the way we interact with Him affects how we experience Him as well. So I think this goes on with God as well. And kind of let that be our source of love, so that when we come to interact with people, we're not as afraid when the fractures within ourselves and them start showing up. That's the textbook answer. I can't necessarily say I'm convinced of that in this moment. I think a year ago, I was convinced of that. But in this moment, as I'm still getting my mind back and I'm still processing and healing certain things, I can't say that I'm 100% convinced of that. But I think at some point I will get back to that. Yeah. What do you do? Also, something that's like I've been thinking about is, how do you convince other people that love is worth pursuing? Because yeah, I'm just realizing that this is a priority for me, but it's not a priority for a lot of people. And I don't know, that's just like really strange to me. And I just think like reality in the world could just be so much more different, so much better if people prioritize love more. But it's like, because human beings have agency, and I respect human agency, I really do. It's like, oh, you actually have to convince someone that this is something worth pursuing. You can't force it on them, even if you like force or coerce their actions. It's not coming from a genuine place of love. So it's like, how do you convince? How do you convince other people that love is worth pursuing in their lives? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's all I have for today. Thank you for listening to 24 minutes of nothing. I really don't know what I said in this video or if any of it made any sense or landed, but if it did, I'm so happy for you. So happy this made sense, some shape or another. Oh, I will be back tomorrow. But thank you for stopping by on my little corner of the internet. Until next time, ask yourself, how can I continue to show up and seek for experience, be enthralled in love, even when my weaknesses rear their head? That's our question. I Bye.